Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at a pretty fun 11-game slate tonight. So we've got plenty to choose from in our NBA player props video that we have for you right now. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Got a couple other game videos up, including a bonus game video for you on this fun slate tonight with a bunch of marquee matchups. So make sure you're checking all of those out. Nate does have his great article up on playpicks.com as well with some best bets and player props in there. And make sure you're headed to thelines.com, checking out who's in and out of those lineups each and every night, as well as the props tool we have for you, making sure you're getting the best juice available on all those odds out there on props tonight from those odds makers. And also head to play.thelines.com as we do have an opportunity for you guys to win a $25 Amazon gift card. If you head to that NBA Daily Pick'em Challenge and get all of those correct, we will send you, whoever gets it right, a $25 Amazon gift card there. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play of props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing for the first time in 8 days, and that means we're going back to the well with Kyrie Irving, who, went way over a 24.5 points prop the last time he took the floor. He had 60 against Orlando. He's still getting a really good odds at 26.5 points, I guess because the matchup is tougher tonight against Memphis. He's been able to score 37.5 on 52-50-80 splits in his last 2 meetings with the Grizz. Both those were back in 2019. The Grizzlies will be without Ja Morant tonight, and they have a much better defensive rating in a smaller sample size without him. Dillon Brooks is probably going to spend a good amount of time on Kyrie and probably do a pretty good job on him. But honestly, if he keeps him from going off the way he did and it's a close game, then I feel even better about taking a Kyrie scoring prop, because the only reason he didn't hit it in his last 3 games, where he's averaging 44 points per game and shooting 63% from 3, is because they just blew Philadelphia out of the water in that highly charged game. He's got a 35% usage rate and a 157 offensive rating in those 3 games. Kevin Durant, who just scored 37 and 38 in his last 2 without Kyrie, is going to be more than willing to defer a little bit here. And when he's got his guy coming in on that adjusted schedule, if it looks like Kyrie is dribbling past defenders in cement, it's because it kind of is the situation where these guys have played 70 games or 60, 70 games, and Kyrie's played like 15 on the season. So he's very fresh, able to dribble around any closeouts. And if he's shooting 60% from 3, I don't know what you do with him at this point. He's getting plus odds to get 25 in a win, so you don't even need to go all the way up to 27 points if you think Brooklyn's going to pull this one out. We do, if you check our game video. Or if you want 30 plus in the win, that's plus 285. And I don't think I'm too scared about him scoring at least 30 here against a team that can fire right back. Memphis has been scoring in droves even when Morant is out. They score more points per game at home and have a great offensive rating there.
Yeah, no, I concur with all of that 100%. I don't need to dive more into it. I love the 25 and a win, 63% from 3 over 4 games. I don't know what else you want to say about it. At some point, he's going to come back to earth a little bit. I still think he's, capable of shooting 50% from 3. But the only other thing to add there is we should at some point talk about his defense. I mean, he came out super hard against James Harden. Maybe all that time off and that rest is also helping that defense, which he has 112 individual defensive rating over his last 4 games, which is much, much better than his 128 individual offensive or defensive rating, on the season. So he's obviously playing a lot better there as well. Just wanted to throw that out there, give Kyrie to God some props there. So moving on to another guy who has no problem scoring right now. He's in the race for the total points title in the NBA. That's Joelle Embiid, also going for that MVP, obviously. 31.5 points is his prop tonight. Not very scared of that. He's been off since Sunday. And when big man gets a rest, we talk about Kyrie benefiting from a rest. Man, would Joelle Embiid love to get 2 days off all of the time, as when he does this season. He's scoring 30 points a game, almost 13 boards, which is the most in the league, 123 offensive rating. And then he's averaging about 14 free throw attempts per game in that time frame as well. So just going off, against the Lakers, he loves to play against the Lakers as well. In his last 6 versus them, 33 points a game and 10 boards, 5.5 assists. Also, again, about 14 free throw attempts attempts a game. So I think there's a plenty to like with him getting those points. You could consider the points, rebounds, and assists slightly worse odds, minus 115 at DK. His points at 31.5 is minus 111. It's a lot of points, but I think you could also dumb that down. I think we do like LA to keep losing, even though they had that nice win last game against the Cavs. I still think there's not a lot to like with those Lakers, especially when they're going to be playing a juggernaut like the 76ers tonight. So just 30 in a win is plus 116. I feel really good about that. The double in a win is minus 120. I don't see how he doesn't get 10 boards tonight against a Lakers team that just hemorrhages rebounds and points to opposing big men and it points in the paint, etc. So this is a prime opportunity for Embiid to go off. He's got Harden back, who I do think will continue to dime him up. And so I do like both of these bets, but might as well take that 30 in a win and still get that plus money on your odds.
Mm-hmm. The rebounds per game for him is the most for him this season, and the offensive rating is the highest for him because, he plays much better with more energy when he gets a little bit of extra rest. Not a huge surprise there. I actually like just the assists and rebounds in this particular matchup. 15.5 for him. I think he gets about 12 boards and can get you 4 or 5 dimes. I mean, maybe more boards than that if the Lakers are really struggling to connect. So that's another angle to look at. But I think the double in the win is the safest bet here. He should get 10 boards. But the Lakers really tried to double him the last time they met, and he happily passed out of that for 7 assists, averaging 5.5 assists his last 6 against this team. So he's shown that he can find guys too. But with Harden out there, it might be more feeding the big man than him distributing. Anyway, you cut it. Expect a nice game from him, and I would look for some player specials to see about Embiid and LeBron scoring 30 tonight, because LeBron's just trying to absolutely drag his team right now. They're not giving him much, but he is putting up huge numbers. So the Mavs are without Luka Doncic tonight, and I think that it's time to take out the new shiny toy in terms of Spencer Dinwiddie. He's played one game with Dallas without Luka. He scored 36 points on a 41.5% usage rate against Sacramento, the team that allows the second most points per game on the road. Now he places Houston, who allows the most points per game on the road, 6th most points per game to point guards this season. You might think is it going to be Brunson or is it going to be Dinwiddie? And Brunson did have a nice game against Sacramento last time Luka missed, but he's been dealing with a foot contusion. His usage rate around 20% in his last 5. Numbers not as high across the board as Dinwiddie, not handling the ball. Usage rate is just shooting, but Dinwiddie's handling the ball a lot more. Since he's joined Dallas in home games, averaging 22 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists with a nice 25.5% usage rate on 50, 40, 83 splits. So, there's lots to attack with Houston here. I like the 24.5 points and rebounds because of the pace Houston plays at. And because that's much better odds than just taking his points at 20. He's averaging 6.3 boards in his last 4. So I think you can tack that on. But I do think if you want to take the 20 points, take it in a win. Dallas is probably not going to lose here, even though they don't have Luka. And that's plus 118. And I'll just throw in as a bonus pick there, Dwight Powell, for his points and rebounds, any way you want to look at that. But just Dwight Powell, 10 rebounds in a win, plus 275. Or 12 points in a win around there too. He had 26 and 12 the last time he played Houston, and he's coming off a nice 22-point game against the Wolves, which, kind of segues into your last pick.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just finish with loving Spencer Dinwiddie and maybe starting the narrative of J. Kidd as the point guard whisperer. Jalen Brunson having a career year, as well as Spencer Dinwiddie coming over and just revamping his career after really struggling on Washington, where he was poor fit there. Wonderful fit here in Dallas, the way that they like to play and giving it to him, not needing much other than space and maybe a screen from Dwight Powell, who I also love in this one with you as well. But nice little segue into the team playing the Wolves tonight, Deandre Ayton and the Suns. There's plenty to like here as well with both, Ayton and Book. The total at right now, 237 or so, 236.5 in this game. So a lot of points expected. But for Ayton, I think the points and the rebounds are where you look tonight. Minus 111 on FanDuel for him to get more than 27.5 points and rebounds combined. His last two in Minnesota, specifically 22 points, 11 boards, averaging that in both those games, 30 minutes a game in that time with a 24% usage rate. On the road, he's been really, really great as of late as well. Last 6 on the road, 20.5 points, 10.5 boards, shooting 65%, and that usage rate up to 26% on those in those road games. So obviously them playing on the road tonight's huge. One more thing about him, without CP3 on the season, he is averaging 2 more points a game and just about the same amount of rebounds, which would get you to about 29 points and rebounds a game, 29 points and boards combined in those games without CP3. And playing Minnesota at home, giving up the 3rd most rebounds to opponents at home is Minnesota. It's partly because they miss 50 shots a game there, with the 8th worst field goal percentage, shooting the ball about 94 times and missing it about 50 times, as I said. Also playing at the fastest pace. And if, against centers, not very great as well. Karl-Anthony Towns is also questionable. If he doesn't play, all these numbers are just even more likely to happen. But they do give up the 7th most points to centers and 10th most rebounds to Minnesota. So there's some good odds for Ayton tonight, who should get close to, if not over that 30 points and rebounds tonight for sure.
Yeah, I actually like it more if Cat does play, because part of the pick is that he didn't really want to bang with Dwight Powell on Monday when he's dealing with a forearm injury. And Naz Reid could step in and be a little bit more physical with Ayton. Not saying that he's not going to hit this prop, though. Yeah, you mentioned how many available rebounds they're going to be, and he's sporting a 26.5 defensive rebounding rate on the season. Scoring more without CP3, he's going to be more featured in the offense in a game played at a very fast pace. So like the combination here for him to continue his success against the Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a really fun night of hoop tonight, as we are now under about 10 games remaining for each of these teams on the schedule. Lots to look at tonight. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. You can check out all 4 videos we have up for you today. And until we see you next, happy betting.